Hello again. Long time no see. This is my first time giving a reflection in a service, so I've been very excited about this. And I thought Songs of the Spirit would be a good service for that because my whole life is basically singing. I listen to people sing all day. I am a voice professor at UWEC, so I listen to people sing all day. I sing a lot. I follow singers on Instagram and watch concerts online. It's my whole life. It revolves around singing. But the nuts and bolts of singing are pretty simple, so I'm going to talk to you all as Professor or Dr. Amon today. The voice is really 3 parts. It's an air supply, which is our breath. So everybody take a breath. You get a voice lesson today. Everybody take a breath. Find those muscles around your belly button and see when you breathe in if you can feel them kind of release when you breathe in. So breathe. Good. This time when you breathe out, go breathe. Ooh, very good. Strong, powerful voices out there. So we have our air supply. We have a vibrating entity like a reed in a wind instrument, which is our vocal folds or our vocal cords, which sit in our larynx on top of our trachea. So if you are a testosterone-influenced voice, yours probably sits a little lower and you can feel your Adam's apple. That's where your vocal folds sit, right behind there. For non-testosterone-influenced voices, they'll be a little higher up. You're welcome to feel around if you want to. Take a big swallow. You feel it go way up. Take a yawn. Ooh, you feel it go way down. So our vocal folds are always moving all over the place. And so that's the second part. The third part is our vocal tract. It's everything that sits from where you were just feeling, your vocal cords, to the end of your mouth. Oh, this whole part here. And without our vocal tract, our voices would all just sound like buzzing flaps of flesh. So our vocal tract is our throat and our mouth, sometimes our nose, and it's what gives our voices different colors. We're all shaped differently, and it's amazing that, you know, if you think about the acoustic body of instruments, it's usually a pretty hard structure. Ours is very soft. It's our skin. And yet we can still make these big acoustical spaces in our mouth that color all of our sounds. So everybody take a yawn and then go, oh. Good. Now take a like shallow breath with a more closed mouth and just go, ee. Yeah. So different vocal styles have different acoustical shapes that shape the style. Musical theater is a little more trumpety. Classical is a little more lofty. Oh. So I get to teach both of those kinds of students at the school. Singing invites us to breathe more deeply and explore the endless colors that the vocal tract can produce. I have the privilege of teaching 30 private voice students at the school. I teach vocal techniques, pedagogy, literature, and something I encounter with my college students is that they often are trying to sound like someone else. They're trying to sound like Maria Callas. They're trying to sound like Idina Menzel or Beyonce, or like some of those rough singers from the arena rock days. And they have this preconceived notion of what their voice should sound like. And this causes them to push and grip in the jaw and the tongue and in their shoulders. And it's when they're able to release all of that stuff and any wrongness or rightness in their singing and just move their air that they find their true sound. Sometimes that also means releasing the stress of the day and the obsession with doing things right, which in a setting like a voice lesson is hard because you know your teacher is always listening for things to talk to you about. I often see them breathe and then hold their breath while they go through every possible scenario of what sound might come out and then start singing. So we practice a lot on breathing in an idea and then letting the idea come right back out instead of breathing, oh, okay, and then singing. We hold our breath a lot, not just when we're singing, but in regular life. I invite them to be decisive in their intake of breath so they can be free as they sing. I think this is a good meditative practice for life, too. And I invite you to sing this short little song with me. You all came with your voices all warmed up today. You may not have realized it, but when you were singing just then, a lot was happening chemically in your brain. Our speech utilizes the left side of our brain, while singing, rhythm and melody, utilizes the right side. And this explains why some with speech impediments are able to sing without their impediment, and why singing is so great for speech therapy. Singing a lot later in life, later in adulthood, can even help you retain speech and communication skills. It improves memory retention and concentration in people suffering from dementia. It can reduce stress and cortisol levels and alleviate anxiety, releases endorphins and oxytocin, those good feeling chemicals, and stimulates feelings of trust and bonding. Singing in groups builds community and trust and helps us grieve together and demand social justice together. If you think about the great songs that have been sung throughout the years for social justice purposes. One of my main research interests is serving transgender and non-binary students in voice lessons. I'm not a voice therapist, so I always tell them if they're wanting to find another pitch level for their voice, that they should seek out voice therapy as well. My very first trans student was a retired construction worker in her 60s who had just begun to transition. She had a very deep, kind of cool, gravelly voice and a very sweet spirit. And seeing her smile once she gained control of her falsetto register was an image that I'll never forget. So falsetto, we can all try it. If you all hoot like an owl, woo, 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 woo. Everyone try. Yeah, woo, 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 woo. So testosterone or non-testosterone influenced voices can make these high sounds, woo, 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 woo. And for trans women, the hormone therapy that they may take does not alter the pitch of their voice. So they have to discover this register, and it's really fun as a voice teacher to help them do that. On the other hand, if you have perhaps a trans man in your voice studio who is undergoing testosterone therapy, it's a very fun adventure to undergo with them because you never quite know where the voice is going to end up. Just like, puberty for a teenager, you never quite know where it's going to end up or how long it's going to take to kind of settle in. But seeing the absolute relief and joy to not only be able to speak in that register that feels like home to them, but to sing in that register that feels like home to them is something really magical to be a part of. When I first started teaching trans students, I'll admit I was nervous because the research just wasn't there. It's a relatively new research area in voice pedagogy. But the more students I've had, the more I've realized that teaching them is really no different than any other student. You have a human in front of you with a voice and goals for that voice. And so you get to help them reach those goals. For many years, voice teachers would discourage any form of pitch altering, even if their studio mantra was to sing with your voice. Luckily, there has been a huge shift there in voice pedagogy, and new research and publications are being released. And some fabulous trans opera singers are on the world's biggest concert stages. Lucia Lucas is one. I check her out for sure. These singers no longer feel like they'll have to be left behind in the very gendered world of theatrical singing, which is a wonderful thing. So I want to close with No One Is Getting Left Behind this time, which we'll sing a few times. And you can think about the times in your life when singing has made you feel part of a community, made you feel like you have a voice, that you can share your true voice, and that you can bring others with you.
So, two more excerpts from Why They Sing. There we go. There are feelings too complex to express in words that can somehow be conveyed through singing. Singing is alive with motion, and expressing myself that way makes me feel whole. Learning the songs that touch different people's hearts is a way to know them better. Singing is channeling a feeling. You open your mouth and out comes something amazing that makes other people feel like you do. If you're happy, they're happy. If you're empowered, they're empowered. I sing because I can and found it the best way for me to express my joy or sorrow, and I can sense that people are sending back their own feelings. But it also allows me to step into the emotional shoes of the composer, to step beyond an intellectual empathy with another person and imagine that I really feel what he or she wanted to convey. So even if the lyrics are not something I might write, I have a deeper understanding of another human being. So if you'll join with me with that congregational response from the first page. With gratitude, we celebrate the gifts shared. With wonder and delight, we receive. May the melodic offerings continue to touch our hearts and nurture our spirits.
My colleague, UWEC professor Dr. Leanna Razor, is a music therapist who does weekly singing therapy and anger management sessions with people who are incarcerated in both adult and juvenile prisons. She couldn't be here today, but she graciously wrote a couple of paragraphs about her experience that I thought would be interesting to you. When the men in the jail enter the room from their cell blocks, they are singing as they enter the room. And they yell out numbers at me, referencing the numbers of the songs in the jail book that they want to sing. They are singing from their whole hearts and do not have inhibitions about singing in front of people. They know that in that environment, they will not be judged critically, and they really don't care anyway because they are singing for what it does for them. They have been inside a small jail cell and are now getting to walk into a room with a large table and seats for 15 to 20 people. Their natural response to that bit of freedom, comparatively speaking, as it allows them out of their small cell block, is to sing. For the juveniles, when they are let out of their jail cells, they go into the gym in the jail. They begin turning flips, taking advantage of the space they have to release their physical energy. The response for the adult men who sing when leaving their cells to come into the room that is a bit larger and allows them to be with people from other blocks is similar to that. A release of energy, a way to express. They all support each other in singing. When men from the community come to volunteer for the first time in the jail, they often end up with tears running down their faces when they hear the men who are incarcerated sing. During anger management, the men and women in the jail compose song lyrics to explore issues and express emotions. They are eager to sing their lyrics, and they are not inhibited about singing in front of people. They are like young children who spontaneously, that's a rough one for me this morning, respond with singing, with no concern about being judged for their musicality. They do not make fun of each other's voices, but support people in singing what they have written, feeling free to join in improvisationally. They often write songs in the cell block and end up asking others who have written songs to share their songs in groups.
Sound is the vibration of our hearts within the chamber that is our bodies. And when our hearts are vibrating in harmony together, our souls are resonating as one. And I think we felt a little bit of that today even. And when we join in song, we can share in our sorrows, our joys, and it can be a balm to our spirits in times of difficulty. So I actually wanted to share why I wanted to share the Filled with Loving Kindness, which many of us know. It's in our hymnal. Because I first heard that song at an impromptu gathering here at our very own congregation, and it was after the 2016 election. And many folks had gathered together to just share in their worries or fears or just be together and be supported at that time. And it was just something that was put together immediately to be there for folks. And that was really meaningful to me, just to know that these aren't just walls that are just here for Sundays, right? This is about being here for the community. And people just shared their own personal statements or even poetry and song. And that's when I heard it. That's when I heard Filled with Loving Kindness. And all those that gathered were, together, and they raised their voices from a low, quiet sound to a full, beautiful cacophony of voices in a good way. And they all joined in that hymn, and it just struck my heart in that moment, and it's made a home there. The feeling of not only the power of the words, but just the sound in the room and through the hearts of everyone that was present in that moment was just not only inspiring, but connecting in a way. We were there making a sound through the hurt and helplessness, uncertainty, a sound of hope. It felt like everyone was there together in that moment, trying to do our best to survive. And it turned an I into a we, a single solitary experience to a holding community. So it's become a very healing song for me that I sing for myself when things are difficult, and I've sang for others when just things are at their darkest. I've sung with individuals who have lost family members, who are dealing with depression and just uncertainty and life changes, and also with folks that just feel lost. And because of the song itself and the words, it is a meditation within itself. And a lot of you may know that it is a Buddhist meditation. I don't know how the Buddhist folks use it, but I'm going to share with you how I use it today. So it's become that healing song, and it's traveled with me to all kinds of other spiritual groups as a part of my own tradition that I've obtained here as a Unitarian Universalist. And it's continued to soothe and hold the hearts and space for everyone who hears it. So I want to give this gift back to you and thank you for that gift that was given to me by this congregation. So how I use and work with this song. So in your song sheets, let me grab my page. There we go. You notice that and so you can use your hymnals if you want. I don't do the repeat because that's hard to teach to other groups, so I don't do a repeat. So the words, I just have them written here. I will make one correction. The very last line is whole instead of well. So I made a typo there. That was me. But you see that it starts with may I, then may you, and may we. And when I'm singing the I part, I am focusing that energy and the contents of the song and the feeling on myself. And when I sing you, I may think of a specific person or direct that energy to a particular person or situation. And when I sing the we part, I want that energy to just fill the room and fill the space and interconnect with everybody. So I invite everyone when singing this, and we'll sing it through You can join in when you want to. You can also listen and just also feel those same, energetic experiences to go through that motion. And that's how it's been so healing for me to be able to, I'm healing myself and I'm healing for those that are closely connected to me and those around me. And I'm wishing well for them. I'm wishing for their wholeness, their wellness. Thank you.